Okay, I'm going to share. I'm going to share this with you. And again, all of this you've seen. Now, you are not newbies, but it always is good, I think, to kind of refresh, because it brings up new questions. So here is the biofield that most people know of in our Earth experience. First of all, they don't know Earth plan. So already you know more. They don't know galactic history. Already you know more. But this is how each world, of which there are 8, each world is energy. That's what it is, energy. And there are 8 dimensions or regions in each world. And that is and what makes the difference is how fast the energy is vibrating. Energy at home is has nothing to impede it. It is constant, it's unlimited, it's everywhere present. It's there's nothing that slows it down. But because of this devolution that we've been going through, there's a lot of contamination. All of the unbalanced energy slows it down. All the siphoning off of parasitics changes it. So here we are in the 8th world we call Earth. Here's where the plans lie. Here's Earth.
Wait.
Yeah.
Sorry, quick clarification.
Yes.
The first world, it's still pure, or it's also been contaminated?
Home's never been contaminated. No.
Okay.
Because secure boundaries. Yeah. These worlds all became very contaminated. So in tag, I don't call this the first world. I call it home.
Okay.
In the Hermetic tradition out of Egypt, this is called the first world. And so they say there are 9 worlds. Okay. So, but in the tag work, I don't call this a world. I call it home. And then as we extended, the first world then is our first extension with agenda from home. So here's the 8 worlds. Here is Earth. Every one of those have 8 different regions of frequencies. So there's 64 dimensions within our entire life experience after we birthed from home. 64. Now we're going to take this 8th world, Earth, and we're going to go down here and we're going to look at it. So here are the different frequencies. 1, 2, and 3, the 3 dimensions, those frequencies we can discern with our physical body: sight, sound, smell, touch, taste. We can discern those frequencies or identify them with those abilities. When it's faster, in the 4th and the 5th, we really don't discern them with the physical body senses. We discern it more with our mental ability, memories. So we call this the mental body, because that's how we discern these frequencies. It's a different language. It's a mental language. As it is faster, it is faster, we can identify and discern these frequencies with our emotional body senses. So this is our emotional body. And the higher ones, the highest of 7 and into 8, we discern more with what we'll call our spiritual sensitivity, our intuition, just inner knowing. And it has nothing to do with good, bad. It's not that all of our negative karma is down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th dimension's free. That's ridiculous. This is all contaminated. And those vibrations, these little red vibrations indicating like negative karma seeds, however they were created, that might be housed in the spiritual body, because of the law of manifestation, they begin to ripple and radiate, and pretty soon we feel their impact in our emotional body. And if we don't identify it and remove it, then we pretty soon perceive it with our mental sensing system. And if we don't pull out the seed there, it moves down, and pretty soon it's in our world as a situation. So situations in our physical body experiences are where most people get their information. That's for most people, that's the only thing that's real, is what they can taste, touch, smell, feel, and touch. Yeah, this is real. This is hallucinations, Pollyanna, ridiculous. You're too emotional. It's all in your mind. But the truth of it is that this energy wave of life, which is you, let's say this is your soul vibrational stream, extended right down from your home, right down into this physical bodysuit, right down to the earth. It has information that's touching all of those parts of yourself with different languages: spiritual language, emotional language, mental language, physical language. Why? So you can know what is helpful, beneficial, expanding, and what is constricting, damaging, and harmful. Why? So that you can call in with your voice of authority to say, expand the good. We use reality statements to do that. Remove the damage, which we use PTO and then reality statements to do that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to do a little guided ritual to activate the Sophia center, strengthen the Sophia center in your physical body. Because without that, I mean, and we're all functioning with it, now to some degree, but we're just assuming we're activating it because we want to make sure that that voice of authority keeps getting stronger, building stronger muscle, because it's critical to life here and what it is you're all about and what you want to build. You up for that? Okay. So just find a place, have a way for your body to be comfortable. If you need to even lay down on a couch, just do that. Find a place where your body's comfortable and just breathe and say to your bodysuit, wow, you got me here. You did a great job. And I'm here. And there's nothing body physical that you need to do except be rejuvenated while we do this work. Just notice your breath moving in and out of your nostrils. With your next breath, maybe two, bring in energy through your crown chakra, move it down the midline of your body, out your feet, anchor it into Gaia. Say, Gaia, here I am. I am present. In your imagination, what is Gaia saying to you? Is she opening the door with her apron on and bringing you in? Is she embracing you and saying, oh, yes, I knew you'd be coming? Let yourself, in your imagination, feel her presence and arms around you. And she is holding the vibration of your soul right there in her home, networking it with all those other amazing souls in female bodies. And just imagine with your breath moving, not unplugging from Gaia's root system in her arms, but traveling up and on to the surface of the planet in a new place, in an ancient place. Beautiful, safe, like moving up within the bodysuit to the solar plexus, your place of discernment, where you can be in that lush garden, sitting on a bench or maybe on the sand by the beach, looking around and going, this is so beautiful. This is what I love. Look around and you see you're not alone, that we in this circle and many other circles are also there in our own way. And coming toward you and therefore toward the collective us is a radiant group of spiritual sisters moving effortlessly toward you with cloaks and shawls, azure in color. Those of the Sophia collective who have held the authority voice for souls in female bodysuits from the beginning and would not let it be unplugged from them. They're coming towards you, and with a smile, one of them comes towards you and you stand and she embraces you. And you feel her strength, her clarity, her warmth. And this entire Sophia collective, each standing in front of some sister in physical body on this mission. And she steps back and she looks you in the eye and says, I know you. I know you. And I am here like I promised I would be, just as you promised you would survive and make it to this point no matter what, so we could meet. And I honor your journey. I honor the pain, the costs. You did it. As you look at each other, it's almost like you look beyond each other through the eyes to the greater field, that field of authority. She says to you, I bless you, my sister. Puts her third eye on your third eye. She places her hand on your heart, on your solar plexus, activating Gaia's presence. And she says, you are one of us. And I activate and restore Sophia authority, discernment, power in this bodysuit and this lifetime for you. Let yourself be in that declaration. Your entire consciousness moved. Those you whom you're connected to and love, especially the women you love in your life, you are a surrogate for them. Sophia, power, wisdom, discernment, authority, restored. Take a breath, and she takes from her arm a cloak or a shawl and puts it over you, that as your blessing. And she says to you, what in this moment is most troubling to you? What in this moment appears destructive, discounting to you? And you speak it to her. What in this moment is most troubling to you? She says, I hear you, sister. And she gives you a staff that you take in your left hand and a sword that you take in your right hand. And she says, follow me. And now you are in a circle of other women initiated, and you put your staff in the ground and you say, this is my life. This is my home. This is my family and body. And that staff goes deep. And the authority center of the solar plexus lights up. Says, yes. And you thrust the sword of Sophia into the heavens, because it is not a weapon. It is a connector, sharp, clear, secured into the heavens to your families of star being. And they say, PTO and all teams of removal. This which I have named as disturbing to me, I place in your hands. Remove it to its originator, and from originator to extinction. Now, it is not of my light. Hold that sword. I place this in your hands. Retract it to its originator and extinction. And so it is. You hold that in your imagination with the power you have and the support of other Sophia activated women. Until you feel complete. Till you feel that release within you. And when you're ready, you can bring yourself back to this present day circle with the help of your own spiritual team and guides. I'm going to give you a minute to decide feedback. What's the takeaway for you? And what was it you placed in the hands of the PTO through the voice of authority? Anything you want to share about that experience? And we'll just popcorn style. And if you choose not to share right now, you can just say, I'm going to pass. And that's fine too.
I can share. The experience that was most impactful for me was the Sophia sister. And when that transmittal happened, uh, that was really, really powerful. And then the thing that was most troubling was actually just something that I've been struggling with in my own life. And then when I was given the staff, that was really like, I wasn't expecting that at all. And so, yeah, just feeling like that sisterhood and that reawakening, very much alive now. And yeah, thank you for that.
I became connected, and then I went after the need that so many people to have to fill themselves with really strong feelings. The strong feelings that I particularly went after were anger and hate. The way that people will follow somebody who makes those feelings, those strong feelings, people who feel more alive when they're feeling anger and hate. And so I stuck my staff in the ground. I stuck my sword up. I created a vacuum where those feelings were and replaced it with a need to feel like peace and calm, and asked Gaia to fill that space with peace and calm after the need for those feelings was perceived. And that's actually the sort of work we do in Freedom and Truth Writers. And in the Vision Circle, we ask where, and then we go. And who the hell knows where we're going? But it felt powerful, it felt real, and I think a thing happened.
For me, when Sharon was talking before we went on break, when Sharon was talking about just the amount of contamination throughout the worlds from our home, spiral down from our home into physical, I felt, oh my gosh, there's just so much. How can I do it? And which I think has been my reluctance to kind of step into this. And then after the break, well, shortly before the break, and then afterwards, I just had this roiling energy in my abdomen. Almost feeling like I needed to go vomit. And I immediately started, review my light, and it was no, absolutely not. And I started the process of detaching and unplugging, and then we went into the meditation with Sharon, and It made me realize that even though, physically, I might just be me, myself, there's a huge network of sisters and energy workers that I can connect with to do the work together, which makes it, much more powerful than just one person. And so that was very insightful and very helpful.
So I'm going to share the screen again with you. And thank you for all of that. It's so valuable, isn't it? To be able to speak what it is that we're sensing, and also then to hear it from others. So up until this is in what I understand, in 89, when I asked how to get to cause, I was told it wasn't being done on the planet. There wasn't any place that my guides could take me to say, learn from this teacher. It wasn't on the planet. 89, that's not very long ago. And so and so everything I was learning was like almost sometimes absolutely opposite to what was being taught, which made me understand why we were still so trapped. So it wasn't until like the latter part of 1900s into 2000 that things began to change. Like Jennifer said, the contamination up here was not being touched, not even being acknowledged. It was being hidden. And if you're in a group here, which we were, if you're in a collective, let's say 4 million, in this family collective doing something in the third world, and you make a contract to be limited in some fashion, you make a survival choice, that survival choice follows you down into this life and becomes a one of those negative stuff that cannot be removed by your voice alone, because it had to have group agreement. And that wasn't being done. We were trapped for all of those years, from 300,000 years ago till at least 2,000 that I know of. Was then that the Mayan calendar said, and I found this out afterward, that in 2000, the galactic worlds would open. And in my experience, they did. And we began to understand in the tag work, we begin to understand that. Now, what does that mean to you today? Those who worked with me in the early years, the 2001, 2, 3, 4, we worked extensively on these worlds, on these groups. One person would come to us down here at a session. We would go and release the group. These worlds today, I would say, are 97% clear. You do not have to think or that you're trapped with this shit. You aren't. If the story still exists in your consciousness, the story traps you, not the actual situation, because the situation's gone. And eventually the story will dissipate, but you can consciously grab hold of the galactic worlds are clear and unified, restored to my divine family's agenda. Because that's the truth. So knowing the corrections is different than just having the corrections eventually dissipate, and all of a sudden, for whatever reason you don't know, you're thinking differently. That might take years for some people. Doesn't have to take years. Now, the other thing so the galactic worlds are corrected, unified, and restored to the divine family's agenda of good. Just since 2000, 2001 and 2, we've gotten them more and more and more unified. And once in a while, I still find a glitch, but not very often. Galactic worlds are cleared. Now, here's the other thing. When we came in to the plan for this life, was that the male bodysuit itself had to carry ownership marks. And that's gone. That's gone. They do not own us in the galactic worlds, therefore, no ownership marks are needed. Male bodysuits are no longer owned. Does that mean that every soul in a male bodysuit is all of a sudden going to be heart-centered and clear and respectful, etc.? But no, those who are consciously working, absolutely, quick on board. Our new babies coming in are coming into new bodies. So now you're down here in this field and you're conscious. Oh my God, I am a star being. My souls, my nature, my inheritance, my resonance, my song is from the stars. And it might be the song of intuition, the inner singing, which can be very creative. Or it might be the song of emotional balance and beauty from just emotional balance. It might be leadership. You can now say, okay, I'm going to align to the original agenda my star family made. And I am going to bring that agenda along with all of my star family, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandmas, and grandmas who want to come with me into this life experience, not to have to just battle or survive or eliminate, but also to build. Bring in your UFO teams, my friends. So you have that difference, okay? So here we are. This is where the contamination still lies, is in the 8th world, not just your life. Some lives are pretty clear and others still are not. But you can use processes, tag processes and other processes to clear things and have them remain clear. You have an authority voice with Sophia that you're not just moving these outsider types into the next person's yard. They have to go back. They'll be taken back to where they originated, and they're turned back to light, because Mother of Laniakea, all of the galactic councils say, no, we will not allow it again. They are not even allowed to have the agenda. That's huge. So that's why you want to play on and know about the galactic landscape, what it was, and that gives you understanding of why we've been so trapped. It's not your mother's fault. It isn't the witch hunt's fault. It's way beyond that. And you could say, and if you get a glimmer of it, you can say to the PTO or tag team, deep six that. There's still a glimmer of it in my life, deep six that. You have the greatest point of power to change your life is in a female bodysuit. That's you. And that doesn't mean that just because you're in a female bodysuit that you have to take on the world. This lifetime, you might have just wanted to take on building a life of joy because it's been so hard in other lifetimes. And you can do that. And it might be that my life is pretty damn good. I am going to take on a little bit more, and I'm going to laser beam and eliminate things in the nation or in the world while I continue to experience joy. It's not one or the other. You see what I'm saying? When you do a reality statement, that's according to the law of your personal choice. It was critical to Earth mission that one soul could speak, I know you're there, to the outsider, have it removed, rather than to have to go into group consensus. Fast, I see it, remove it. So that law ask, receive is still in effect for your life too. So a reality statement you speak, it impacts the physical sensation Then you use the reality shift, and you probably all remember that. It says, move my consciousness into this entire life flow. And when I say entire life flow, I mean this entire life flow. So you don't wait for an affirmation to be stated often enough to get it up, clearing as it goes, to maybe plug into your hard drive here in the fifth dimension. You have it totally brought into the entire wave of yourself and all you're connected to. You have it plugged into your hard drive. You have it activated so that it gets going right away. Being conscious and applying the laws makes you a master of the laws. You're not a master by just knowing them. You're a master by applying them and watching what happens, and applying them and watching what happens. So what I want to leave you with today is that knowledge of, hey, we have been in a mess. It's no made up thing. We have been in a mess, humanity. You are here because you volunteered to be here. This earth mission is not, God said you have to do it. It isn't that in any way. It is not a forced thing. If you find force, I had one woman who was telling me she had a psychic reading, and the psychic reading person said to her, you have a job to do. God has a job, a purpose for you, and a job for you to do. And if you don't do it, God will start attacking your family. I'm going like, what God is she talking about? That sounds like outsider to me. You know, and so she's doing what she's doing because she doesn't want her family attacked. You have, all these little lies under the guise of love or righteousness or godness. You just have to watch any twiggle of domination is incorrect. So you are not here because you are forced to be here, because you were forced into this bodysuit because your parents had sex. You are here because you volunteered. And you're doing a great job. A great job. So here you are. So what I would like you to be with until we meet tomorrow is, how does that Sophia, how does she, maybe bring her into in your imagination. Gaia. Say, wow, I didn't know. And here I'm really excited about that. You have a thought maybe about what you want to have dissolved. Like I said before, you might want to make a list. Here's my list of not so goods that are still here. I'm just going to make a list. Where a lot of this, we're scientists, ladies. We're really scientists. We're taking an idea, we're trying it on and seeing how it works for us. So here's some things that I don't like so much. And I'm just, in this moment, I'm just going to say, hey, you have a spiritual team with you. We're going to talk a little bit about that tomorrow. You have a spiritual team with you. You have lots of them, actually. And you're just going to say to that, you could say the tag collective, because we all know that work, and that's the collective holds many healing types. It's not just tag, they connect. These are things that are still troublesome to me. I'm just going to, in this moment, I'm going to turn it over to your deep six, have your deep six, whatever you, just with that command, can heal, remove, do it overnight. Just keep doing that. So trying on that Sophia, trying on Gaia, and using your deep six. Okay. Energy, once it has moved through us as a physical, with our physical vehicle, the way we've set it up, energy moves through us and it forms according to our story. And once it's formed, its job is to stay formed until someone in a physical body discovers it and decides whether to dissolve it or let it be. Energy does not have the right to self-correct. That is not in the hands of energy or universal energy. It's in the hands of us in our physical body. Okay? If you see anything in the news, deep six, just turn it over to them and say, it's not in my life, but in somebody's life, and I don't want it in their life either. Deep six. And just notice until we meet tomorrow. So open up the field of audio, anything you'd like to say before we close our circle.
As always, thank you. I've heard this before, but I always am reminded of something or learn something new because there's just so much. So again, thank you, Sharon.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here, Arlie. Jennifer and Janelle too. Love
Yes, thank you.
And we'll see you tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific time.
Okay. Great.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.